What's up, studs? Kunal here, Bulls on Wall Street. Today, we've got much to talk about, my friends, my people, my champions of the stock market. We had a nice gap up in the markets and then a complete fade. And so let's take a second to dig into the stock market indexes and our game plan for tomorrow and the coming week. Even though we had a little bit of a role reversal today, the stock market is still giving tons of range, great setups, and both on the swing and day trade side. So let's start to dig in. So first of all, we finished flat on the day. After we had been up quite a bit, right? At 496 we opened. The open was the high of the day, though, right? And so in the end, it was kind of a little bit of a sausage party, maybe is the term, right? Most of the day, and then we faded off into the end. It did give just enough teases to the long side where you thought like, okay, here we go. And then nothing happened. It frittered out. I didn't see any specific news on why this may have happened. So I'm going to chalk this up to the old more sellers than buyers shtick and just say, hey, we are still in a big uptrend here. And, you know, we're in the Goldilocks zone, even though we did have a little bit of a fade, right, today. So a couple things to think about. We're still hanging over the 9 EMA. We're still hanging over yesterday's low. We're still hanging over the 20 SMA, which is the bottom of the bone zone. And we're still in breakout territory. So on a short-term basis, like on today's basis, price action, not so buenos, right? On an intermediate, long-term basis, still many buenoses. So we've got a lot of good stuff still happening here. And you can see here, right? Like the SPY also did, you know, a little bit of a double rundy and just completely reversed. And, you know, I don't know what to make of that. You know, theoretically, in the old days, when you had a reversal like this, it would lead to subsequent downside. Now, that was pre kind of Federal Reserve pumping, you know, quantitative easing, the plunge protection team and all that kind of stuff. This was just when markets were markets. You know, a candle like that would usually signify some level of downside. That doesn't happen as much anymore. You know, this could just be a little bit of anything. What we need to always do is just really concentrate on the overall structure of the market. Hey, we're up the MAs. Yes, it would have been nice if we had held the gap, but we did it, and here we are, right? So let's take a look at the IWM. You know, we had a rest day on this. We dropped down like maybe a little bit at one point, then we rebounded a little when we hit some support. To me, this looks like basically just an inside day. So if you see here, not basically, it is an inside day, right? So we have this narrow range day here. We finished up 0.27, and it's inside this larger range. And so that is actually bullish and leads me to think that, you know, if we saw some weakness tomorrow in the IWM, that it would get bought up with some gusto. And it feels like, to me, we have an imminent breakout coming. You know, a lot of times people thought this one was that, but we were really extended going into this. And then we had the Fed kind of right up here. And so that was a little bit trickier. This time it feels a little bit more orderly, a little bit more steady, and it's also got confirmation from all the numerous, you know, stocks that have been breaking out of the last coming weeks, your UPSTs and so on and so forth, that have just been all cooking and booking. Your SMARs, your nuclears, you know, all of this kind of stuff. So I think the market still looks good. We'll add a couple shorts just in case, you never know, right? And we'll see what's going on. You know, we want to be prepared for both. Let's first take a look at TSM, which closed a little bit weak, but I would say still in the cards. First of all, they reported their earnings today. You had a flat top breakout, big push. It did have some sell-off into the end of the day after a really nice $10 push off the open. I think that's to be expected. It had been really up a lot of days in a row. You had one red day here, but you know, when you break out and you're kind of up 10 days in a row or 10 out of 11 days, you know, even if you're clearing some ranges, you may get some end of day sell off. I think we saw that. I think this is still in play. I would not try to swing trade it unless right? It back and filled all this area. But on a day trading basis, you got to keep it on your watch list permanently for a while. Snow, love this look. So we had finally this base breakout that got it finally moving, right? And it had a really nice run from 108 to 120, so like 20%, give or take. Now we've had kind of a multi-day pull right back into the bone zone and the 50-day moving average, which also coincides with kind of, right, the level that started the breakout. So you have a confluence of things. You have this price support because this is the old breakout spot. You got the 50 and you got the bone. So, you got multiple things going for you. That's nice. Real nice. Real nice, man. I'd like to get into that snow. Let me just tell you something. I love to get in a little bit of that snow company. That's some real nice stocks there, right? Nice looking stocks right there. Man, this is hot. I like it. If it busts over the 9 EMA tomorrow, we shred in it. All right. Pan W, high tight flag here. Right under the all-time highs breakout. If this thing breaks 380, it's going to be a buenos. It may need one more day to backfill this area right here. Maybe, but it sure looks like it's gearing up, right? It tried to test it today, but it was a little bit too loose. Let it tighten up, and it's going to be doing it. And, man, it's got a lot of range on this thing. It's been basing since 2024, so the measured move is really kind of like a multi-month move, right? So we got some time on this. Now, Cart Nation. First of all, you had the IPO breakout, right? IPO breakout. Now, you very orderly kind of just dragged back in to this kind of, I'd call it a flag for the most part, right? Just a really tight coil right in the bone zone too. So it's like, right? When it looks like a little snake, right? When it looks like a little snake, like that's a hot pattern. The lay the snake, we call that in the chat room, lay the snake, right? So when you lay the snake on them, you got yourself a hot little pattern. So we got ourselves the snake, and we're going to... sound effects included, of course. I'm really liking that. That's tighter than a goose's caboose right there. We got to go with that. Hey, this one is for a little bit of a swing trade. It's not a good day trader, but this thing is real coiled up right here. If it breaks this range, it should break the 200-day moving average and kind of get back into this kind of 40s, 45s. I'd go like a month out. The calls on this are actually pretty damn cheap. Look at this. If you go November 8th, like, your 41s, for example, are, $1.46. And look, this not very liquid, so you'd have to find some strikes that actually, right, have a little bit of liquidity in them. But like, I'd go like and find something, right, that's even if it's just a few hundred, you should be okay. As long as you're not going crazy size. And I'd go a little bit out, maybe the next week even, and boom, you might make some good cheddars as this thing starts to go out. So just watch for a little bit of liquidity. It's got a really good look to it. It's not lay the snake, but it's close, right? And casino stocks think the trade. Better to swing trade those than day trade. See, look, it only moves $1 a day. That's its ATR. So you can't really day trade it. I mean, it's okay, right? But it's a better one to do some options on it because it's just low volatility. It's going to move pretty smooth. And if you just wait it out and put like a 20, 30% stop loss, like when it busts loose, you probably, you can catch a double or maybe even more than a doubles. Lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Woo. 1377, 1380. That's hot, right? Multiple tests of resistance. Base breakout here. Probably another one, personally, that I would maybe look at doing the 14s for next week. Look at that. I mean, the 14s are cheap. You're talking about 19 cents. 19 cents on the 14. You got a week out. You need for 10 cents, you can get the 1450s. I mean, you can really get this thing going too. I'm into that. You know, that's nice. Now, look, I like some of these crypto names. BTBT, $4 is the breakout spot. $4 is the breakout spot. Oh, man. Oh, man. This one's got a lot of heat to it. And then, look, old ZM, the Zimmer, right? 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests. If we could break out of this 7136, I think that could be a muchos buenos. It might need a rest day. Like, this is the one thing. I do not like breakouts that happen like day 4, day 5 of the move. They almost always fail, right? Guys, really, anything past a day 3 is prone to failure, right? Ideally, it's day 1, day 2 in terms of a move. So I'm not saying showing post breakup, all right? If you got like 2 big green candles, and then you're kind of coming in day 3, then day 4, you may have a higher chance of a failure. It goes up significantly. So ideally, like, you get like a little bit of a rest day, let this EMA catch up. Always got to use a little bit of imagination when you go into this, right? Say you rest here, pop up, rest here. By that time, this 9 EMA will be right there. And now you'll have yourself a way better chance of succeeding. But it still looks really good. The Bumble. Been talking about this one for a while. I've been just looking for an entry. You know, it just doesn't have the heat yet. You know, it doesn't have the heat. I'm just looking for something, clue, buyer on the tape, some options activity, something. Just come on. You know, like, give me something, right? You know, I used to have this Indian customer, and, you know, he was just on a free trial because, you know, he ain't buying nothing, right? You know one thing about that guy. He ain't buying nothing. And he probably not that good of a tipper, right? Yeah. My people are wild. We're changing now that we're like CEOs and stuff. You know, before we were just doing the 7-Eleven Subway thing. But now that we're like CEOs, maybe even future president, right? With old Vivek or myself, you never know. But, you know, now that we're changing, you know, I think that's kind of changing a little bit, you know. But, you know, so... They, you know, show me something. So I had this Indian customer, and he'd always like call me when he's on the free trial. 5:30 in the morning. Hello, Bulls on Wall Street. Hey, buddy, tell me something. Give me something. Yeah, give me something. I need a play, man. I need a play to pay for your free trial, man. I need a good one. Come on. What do you got? And every day, just like, hey, buddy, tell me something. Give me something. And then even when his free trial ended, like, you know, he just called. Then sometimes he even change up the number and be like from like a Google phone or something. He's like, hey, buddy, it's me. I'm like, hey, give me something. I want to get back in the game and join you guys, but you got to give me something. Give me a good pick. So, yeah, and that's what I'm waiting for on this too. Before I buy, this old Bumble's got to show me something. Show me something, my friend. Right? And it may, and then I'll know. I got my eyes open. I'm watching everything. I got many eyes. Many brains. My downfall's only 2 very dexterous fingers, though, right? These are the most dexterous, fun fingers around. Look and see the speed on these things, right? Fantastic fingers I've got. Really fantastic. They've got hopes and dreams and aspirations. And those dreams have aspirations, because we aspire to have the dreams to have the aspirations. And so now we got MU cooking. Woof, that's looking nice. And then look, AVGO held up okay. It needs to tighten up here. This reversal candle is not a buenos, but, you know, maybe one inside candle here and it'll set up again. Wicks, look at the breakout on this one. 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests. To me, this is also probably a swing trade. You know, it's just a little bit thin. But if you look left, you got a lot of room to go. You're clearing out some levels here. It's a buenos. AEHR, this popped up on earnings. Now you pull them back into the bone zone, and you got the 200-day moving average right there. That's a buenos noches right there. And then SYM. This is your classic base breakout, right? You got a nice W pattern here that just indicates, right, that the bottom has been put in. And then you got a nice high tight flag right over it. Woo! Right? It's developing, right? You got it right there. And then MSTR. So we're retesting the breakout spot. Grinded down 4 days down. Decent enough. I think it's a decent enough pullback. It was a 230, 229 bucks, right? So decent enough pullback here. If Bitcoin makes a little run in the overnights, I'm all over this. I might even wake up early, see if I can get into it. All right, my friends. I love you guys. Smash that like button. Let me know what's going on. If you got any questions, any tickers you want me to go over, just let me know. I'll make sure to post a chart on them. Peace. I love you guys.